Let's get started tonight by talking about prayer in school because I don't think this is that complicated of a question. If I ask you, are you allowed to pray in public school? The answer is, well, yeah, anyone can pray privately. Teachers can pray privately. Students have a little more leeway with that stuff. Really, the only thing you can't have is like school sponsored prayer or prayer shoved down the throats of everybody, no matter who's doing it. And there are decades of legal precedent for this. There are Supreme Court decisions that have uh, said you can't have school sponsored prayers. Like, it's obvious. It should be obvious. And yet, there is an elementary school in Oklahoma. It looks like Prague Elementary School. I believe it's pronounced Prague Elementary School. Not only did they allow daily Christian prayers to be recited over the morning announcements, like over the intercom for the entire school, they let the kids do the praying over the intercom, and then they bragged about it online, which is really messed up. I'm going to show you some of these posts that they put on Facebook here. Check this out. I'm hiding the kids on purpose, but you could see from their Facebook page, like, these kids asked, whoops, let me do that again, asked to pray for our school this morning. And it's like two random kids. And here's another one. These three boys asked to pray for our school today. These kids on Halloween asked to pray over our school this morning. These kids asked if they could pray for our school today. And it's like, it doesn't matter what those kids supposedly wanted. And you all know the thing kids want more than anything else is for the ability to talk to other 6-year-olds about Jesus, apparently. But like, it is messed up that the school allowed them to use the morning announcements to pray and force everyone in the school to listen to that stuff. That's weird. It's really weird that they're then promoting all that on social media as if these kids did something worthy of praise. No, they didn't. They just wasted everyone's time for like a couple minutes longer than usual. So there's all sorts of weirdness happening here that absolutely should not be happening. And maybe, benefit of the doubt here, maybe the school thought it's okay that we allowed the kids to say these prayers because the kids requested it. We weren't making them do it. They asked us if they could do it. But, like, come on, the only reason kids would ever make that request is because the school made it clear that praying to Jesus over the intercom was okay, and that they would like get famous on Facebook for the handful of people who read that page. You know what I mean? Like, these kids aren't doing that on their own. And even so, why the hell is the school saying yes? All of this is still school sponsored prayer. And everyone should know that, because if a Muslim kid asked for the same privilege, you know they would say no. If an atheist or a Satanist or what have you, any non Christian asked for the same opportunity, I feel like the school would not say, well, have at it. You can just take over the intercom for a while. So this all happened for over the course of several weeks at least. And the Freedom from Religion Foundation eventually wrote a letter to the school district. And that's all well and good. I want to show you that, their letter. I'm going to pull this up here. I thought I had it up. Where did it go? Here it is. So this is the letter from the Freedom from Religion Foundation about all this. And here's what attorney Chris Line wrote. It is extremely concerning that the district not only hosts daily prayers as part of Rise and Shine, like their morning announcements, but that it then posts the full name and photos of students who led the prayer so that they can receive accolades from the community for adhering to the majoritarian religious belief. The district must cease hosting daily prayers and promoting religious worship through its official communication channels immediately. So, like, yeah, that's what the school should do. Notice what FFRF is doing here. They're not saying we're going to sue the hell out of you. They're saying you're making a mistake. It's egregious. Like, you're not just allowing the prayers, you're like promoting it. So stop now before things get worse. And they said in that letter, like, the Supreme Court is on our side with this. It's unconstitutional. Public schools can't host prayers even if students are the ones delivering them. We know that because it's not allowed at high school graduations either. So it's such an obvious call that the district shouldn't be doing this that incredibly, the district sent back a letter. And check this out. This was a couple of weeks ago. This is from their attorney. And this is the part that matters, the second paragraph. The district agrees that the posts and prayer are inappropriate for a public school district. It will ensure neither occurs in the future and will delete any district social media posts referencing the same. So, great. Like, that's exactly what should have happened. FFRF warned them what they were doing was illegal. The district said, "Oh, didn't know that. Okay, we respect what you were saying. We know it's illegal. We will stop doing it." And that should be the end of the story. That's exactly what you hope will happen. That was from the district's attorney, Justin Clyburn. And by the way, all those social media posts were deleted. And so what I was showing you earlier, those were screenshots for a reason because they're no longer up on Facebook. But here's where the story takes another weird turn because, of course, this is Oklahoma. This is a state where they have an elected official, a superintendent of public instruction, whose name is Ryan Walters, who also happens to be a Christian nationalist. I'm going to show you something that Ryan Walters did in response to all this, but in case you don't know the name, this is the guy who has been the driving force in getting state officials to approve the nation's first ever religious charter school, in this case Catholic. That's already resulted in a major lawsuit, which I've talked about before. Ryan Walters approved the use of PragerU materials in public school classrooms, and that's just conservative propaganda. Ryan Walters claims the Tulsa Race Massacre, which ought to be a pretty big deal in Oklahoma in history class. He said the Tulsa Race Massacre had nothing to do with race. He has also claimed falsely, obviously, that Joe Biden wants to destroy our Christian faith. Ryan Walters formed a faith community to examine prayer in public schools. And guess what? That committee, which was full of conservative Christians, said, you know what we should do? We should put the 10 Commandments in every classroom. So that's Ryan Walters for you. Just, I think, a month or two ago, he actually sent out to teachers across the state, public school teachers across the state, a sample prayer they could use on behalf of the people in Israel, and definitely not the innocent Palestinians living in the Gaza Strip. He said, here's a prayer you could say for the Israelis, as if that's his role, as if that's what he should be doing. So, in response to the district saying, you're right, FFRF, we're not going to pray in schools anymore, Ryan Walters put out a video. I'm going to play that video for you right now so you could see all this. Let me show you that, and then we'll talk about what he said.
Today we see Prague Public Schools backing down to a radical atheist group. You know, we're going to continue to fight for religious liberty and religious freedom here in the state of Oklahoma. What we've seen as a group that's funded by George Soros, that is atheist, that is from out of state, has come in and targeted children that are initiating prayer in Prague Public Schools. But, you know, just as bad, we have Prague Public Schools bowing down to these bullies and telling their students that they're not going to allow them to initiate prayer anymore. It's outrageous. We have to take a stand for our students' freedom of religion, their freedom to express their religious beliefs, no matter what those religious beliefs may be. So what we've got to do is we've got to tell groups like the Freedom from Religion group, like the ACLU, we will never back down to your bullying antics. We will not allow atheism to be the state-sponsored religion of our school system. Not here in Oklahoma. You guys need to leave our kids alone. We will not stand for it, and we will continue to fight for religious liberty here in the state of Oklahoma.
So that's Ryan Walters for you. That's what he said in response to all this. And in case you missed some of it, let me just highlight some of the awful, untrue things he said there. He said, you know, we see Prague Public Schools backing down to a radical atheist group. What was radical about what they said? They said The law is on our side. The First Amendment says you can't endorse established religion. You know what I mean? You can't promote religion. And that's what the school's doing. That's not a radical atheist thing to say. That's what any halfway decent lawyer would tell you. In fact, that's what the district's own lawyer said. Ryan Walters also said this is a group funded by George Soros, which obviously that's a dog whistle for, right-wing people saying the Jews are funding them. For what it's worth, it's not true. George Soros does not fund FFRF. It's just something, conservative Christians say because they like to lie. That's what Jesus taught them. But Ryan Walters said FFRF is apparently funded by George Soros. He said it's from out of state, and they've just come in and targeted children. But the thing is, if you look in FFRF's initial letter, let me even read this from the letter. A concerned district community member has reported that this school is doing all this stuff. Basically, the way FFRF found out about this is not because they were like monitoring or stalking the school to figure all this out. Someone in the community told them, hey, this is happening. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a teacher, I don't know. But someone informed FFRF this is going on. FFRF looked into it, and basically the Facebook posts speak for themselves. Like, yeah, that is what's happening. Then they write the letter. If they're filing a lawsuit, obviously you want someone in the community to file that, but we're not at that point right now. So this isn't like FFRF is coming out of nowhere. It doesn't matter that their headquarters are out of state, because Ryan Walters would be just as angry if someone in Oklahoma said any of this stuff. So none of that matters. He also said, we have to take a stand for our students' freedom of religion, their freedom to express their religious beliefs. They have that freedom. The students can always talk about Jesus. Anyone can pray privately. What they can't do is hijack the public address system to force all these other students and teachers to listen to their religious beliefs. Again, this would be obvious if we were not talking about Christianity. So that's the thing. And then, of course, at the end, Ryan Walters said, we will not allow atheism to be the state-sponsored religion of our school system. Notice what he's doing there. He's treating neutrality as state-sponsored atheism. He sees religious neutrality as persecution, which is how these people always operate. They want to live in a theocracy so bad that when you say, hey, let's all stay on an even playing field, these types of Christians whine because they're not getting everything they want. So he lives in a Christian bubble, obviously. And here's the thing. When I saw that video, my first thought is, yeah, I've seen Ryan Walters do this act before. He plays this part all the time. The video has no bite. It's just self-promotion for him. It's a way to signal to his conservative Christian base that they matter to him and he doesn't care about anybody else. Like, there's no indication he's using his office or his resources to push back against FFRF, because I think even he knows this is a losing battle. I think he also knows that his MAGA base is too dumb to realize that. So he just doesn't say that. But there's two things that have happened since Ryan Walters posted that video. And these happened this week. And this is why I wanted to bring this up. The first thing is that FFRF directly said to Walters, they wrote an open letter basically calling on him to resign. And I want to read you part of FFRF's letter here. This is the end of it. You have once again set out to interfere with and target school districts that do the right thing and end such constitutional violations. You deliberately stir up divisiveness and acrimony against them and flout your constitutional duties. As we have noted in past letters, it is plain that you are concerned only with advancing a Christian nationalist agenda that is antithetical to American values, rather than performing the duties of the state superintendent of public instruction. You are manifestly unfit to continue to serve in this role. You are a disgrace for your constitutional duties. I apologize. Your disregard for your constitutional duties and your flagrant political posturing are a disgrace to the office. And we once again renew our call for you to resign immediately. Love it. It needs to be said, but also he is not going to resign because of that. So that it's fun. It's fun for FFRF to get it out there. I'm sure it felt good to hit publish on that post, but that won't mean anything. But here's the far more disturbing thing. Check this out. This is from Prague Public Schools, the Prague, whatever, public schools. And they posted this letter. And check out what this one says. Basically, their letter says a recent media report refers to FFRF getting a letter from our attorney. But look in the middle, right around, sorry, this is floating around here. In the middle of this letter, come on, internet, work for me. There we go. It says the response that their own lawyer sent to FFRF was deemed by the district's leadership to be an inappropriate response to the FFRF complaint, and direction was given to the district's legal counsel not to release the response. Unfortunately, the response was released, contrary to the district's direction to FFRF. ... The content of the response was deemed by the district's administration to be unacceptable. So they just threw their own lawyer under the bus, saying, apparently, we don't really care what our own lawyer says about any of this stuff. We told him, listen, lawyer who is on our payroll, who we pay to do this sort of thinking for us, we hear what you said, and we say, doesn't matter. Don't care about what the Supreme Court said. Doesn't matter what the law said. We're going to just do whatever we want. So don't you dare send that letter to the atheists, even though it happened weeks ago. Like, why are they putting out this letter weeks after their own lawyer responded to FFRF? I think the obvious answer is because Ryan Walters made his little video and said, how dare this outside atheist group, bully this school district? Like, that has to be the reason, right? And also, why would the lawyer produce this letter that the district then says, nice draft, ignore it, change it, do something else? Why was this letter inappropriate to the district? We are not told the answer to that. Why do the district's leaders think they know better than their own lawyer does how to interpret the law? We are not told. And here's the bigger question. Okay, they sent this letter saying our lawyer never should have sent out that letter. But what does that mean they're going to do? Are they going to continue the prayers? Are they going to keep posting pictures of these kids delivering the prayers? We are not told. But the district sure seems like they're implying that they will do that again. And again, I think this is because Ryan Walters must have talked to them and said, probably, this is me speculating here, maybe Ryan Walters said, if this atheist group sues you, the state of Oklahoma has your back. We'll defend you in court for free. Because this happens all the time with right-wing conservative groups too, with right-wing legal groups, where they say, we'll defend you for free. What they never actually say is, if and when the district loses that lawsuit and they're on the hook to pay a bunch of legal bills, the state is not going to help them. That's money coming out of the district's pocket, or at least their insurer's pocket, which means those insurance rates will jack up. So I don't know. I did ask FFRF, hey, what do you think about this letter, this statement from the district? Are you worried about it? And what Chris Line, the attorney for FFRF, told me is that, yeah, it is concerned. FFRF is concerned that the district seems to be walking back its own assurance that it's not going to happen again. FFRF says this is clearly established law. We hope the district will follow the law and cease violating the rights of its students, as the response indicated it would. And I mean, that's kind of all you would expect FFRF to say right now, because until the district starts doing it again, there's no lawsuit in the works. No one's going to file a lawsuit. FFRF warned them. They said they would stop. Just because they said, we take that back, we have to kind of see what they're going to do next in order to figure this out. But I mean, right now, it doesn't look like it's going to end well for the students in that district, all because their administrators and the guy in the state in charge of public instruction are hell-bent on using their platforms to promote Christianity instead of educating students. So that's messed up.